Hello all, welcome to Geeks for Geeks practice. In this video, we will talk about the problem of the day for Saturday, which was intersection of two arrays. So we are given two arrays A and B respectively, and we have to respectively of size n and m, and we have to print the count of elements in the intersection of these two arrays. So intersection basically means the distinct common elements present in A and B. So what does distinct common element means? For example, in this array and this array, we have 3 and 4 as distinct common element present in these two arrays. Therefore, the answer for this intersection is 2. Okay, so let me make it clear again. We are given two arrays A and B, and we have to find the count of the common elements present in A and B which are distinct. So for example, this is the array and this is another array, and we have to find the common elements. So this is the common element present in this array and are distinct. So that's why we are not using this, because the elements need to be distinct. If we use this, then the elements will not be distinct. The count will not be distinct, and we will be getting some wrong value. Okay, so that's why we are not using this. If we have found one element, then we don't have to count the same element again. No need. Okay, so I think the question is pretty clear to you. Now we will move to the solution part. So the first approach that comes to mind is the brute force approach for this solution. So what does brute force approach tells us? That we are given the array elements A and B, 1 2 3 4 3 and 3 5 4 6 10. So if we traverse in the first array and keep a set visited, which will keep the track of the element that has been visited. Okay, so one, as we can see, is not visited yet, so we will be visiting the one, and now we traverse it in the B and found that there is no one element present in this. So initially C was 0. Now the C will again be 0 because there is no element present in B with the value 1. So now we come over to 2 and we found that B is not been visited. Therefore, we now push 2 to the visited array. Now we traverse again to B and find that there is no element present in B which has the same value 2. So now the count value is again 0. Now we come over to 3 and we find that the 3 has not been visited. Now we push 3 to the visited set and now traverse it here, and we find that 3 is present over here. Okay, so as soon as we find the 3, we will be increasing the count and break this loop over here, and now come over to this part. Now we see that 4 has not been visited. That's why we push it into the visited set and traverse it over here and find that 4 is also present over here. So as soon as we find 4, we will be breaking the loop and increase the count. So we found the 4, so now we increase the count to 2. Now we come over to this 3 again and we find that 3 has already been visited. So there is no need to traverse it again. Otherwise the elements will not be distinct and we will get some wrong values. Okay, so now the loop has been over and we have got our answer for C equal to 2. So C is basically the distinct common element present in A and B, and that's why we are getting the answer over here as 2, right? So I think the brute force approach is clear. Now let me tell you again the brute force approach for a clear vision. So what we did, we traversed in array A and keep a track of some visited set, and if the element is present in visited, we continue this loop, else we will find it in B. If the element is found in B, then we will increasing the count by 1, and if it is not found, then the count remains the same and we go to this loop again. That's how we got our answer 2 over here. But there is some limitation with this brute force approach. So let me tell you what is the limitation with this brute force approach. So brute force approach has a time complexity of O n cross m into log n. N cross m is for traversing this array and this array, and log n is to keep the track of visited array. Similarly, its space complexity is O of n. Okay, because we are keeping a track of visited array. That's why its space complexity is O of n. So for bigger values of n and m, we can't use brute force approach, as we know from the question that n comma n lies between 1 to 10 raised to the power 5. For values like 10 raised to the power 5 for n and m will not work on brute force approach. Therefore, brute force approach only works for some smaller values. Therefore, we will be needing or required some efficient solution. So what will be the time complexity of efficient solution? So the time complexity of efficient solution should be less than O n cross m, should be less than O n cross m, because if the values are higher, such as 10 raised to the power 5, it will give TLE over here again. TLE basically means time limit exceeded, and the code will break as soon as the time limit is reached. Okay, so now we come over to efficient approach. Efficient approach. So what does an efficient approach say? That we should keep a set data structure for both A and B, and then traverse again, same like the brute force approach. So let me tell you what is the efficient approach is telling us, that we have this loop, we have this array A and B with elements 1 2 3 4 3 and 3 4 3 5 4 6 and 10. Okay, now we will be keeping a set S1 for this array. So the set will be 1 2 3 4, and for this array also the set will be 3 4 5 6 10. So basically a set is what set does is a sorted data structure. When insert, the elements get sorted itself and the elements present in the set are distinct. So set is a sorted data structure. As soon as we insert the element gets sorted, and the set contains all elements at distinct. Therefore, as soon as we insert it over here, we find that the S1 is 1, 2, 3 and 4 and the S2 is 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 in the sorted manner. So what is the need of set? So set is basically, here we are using it to keep all the distinct elements. Okay, so we don't, like we did in the brute force approach, we were as soon as we find the visited element, we were not looping it again. So instead of doing this, what we did, we kept a set with all the distinct elements. So there is no need to check such things like we did in the brute force approach. Now what we do, we traverse in set 1. In set 1 we will traverse the same way what we did in the brute force approach. Okay, but this time we will not keep elements of visited because the elements are already distinct. Therefore, now what will we will do, now we traverse here and we found that 1 is not present and initially the count value is 0. Okay, so since 1 is not present over here, therefore the count value will remain 0, and same for the second case. Now we come over to 3 and we find that S2 has an element with the value 3 and same for 4. So as soon as we find 3, we get the count as 1, and as soon as we find 4, we get the count as 2. So our final answer over here is 2. Okay, we did the same brute force approach. So why is it efficient solution? It is the same brute force approach. Why is it time complexity less than O(n cross m? How is it time complexity is O(n cross m? So this time we are not looping in this array. Why we are not looping in this array? Because since the elements are sorted, we are finding it using binary search. Binary search is being used to find the element present in this set. So how are we using binary search? As soon as we find 1, we binary search in the second array if 1 is present or not. As soon as we find 1, we will be increasing the count, but if 1 is not present, we will be not increasing the count. Now we came over to 3 after 2 and we saw that the element is present over here using the binary search. Since binary search uses the time complexity O of log n over here, so the final time complexity we get over here is O of n log n. Why n log m? Because we have this m to traverse in the S1 and for log n to binary search in S1 in S2. Okay, so I think it is clear that the time complexity is less than O(n cross m when we use binary search to find the elements in the two sets. Okay, now we have got our intersection. So let us take another example. For example, we have A equal to 3, 9, 99 and 1001 and again 9. For B, we have an element 2, 4, 6, 10 and 9. So what we will be doing, we will be putting elements of A in S1, which is a set. So the elements will be 3, 9, 99 and 1001. And same for B, we get 2, 4, 6, 9 and 10. Now we will be traversing in S1 and we will be searching in S2 if the element is present. So we go to 3 and we find that using binary search that element 3 is not present in S2. Initially the count is 0, so the count remain for this part is also 0. Now we came over to 9 and we find using the binary search that the 9 is present. So the count has been increased to 2. And for 99 we see that there is no other element in S2 which has the value 99, and same for 101, 1001, so the count will remain 1. So the answer for this we get as 1 and the value we get is 9. Okay, I think the part is much clear to you. Now we come over to code part. So what code part? So what we did, we had two arrays, A and B. We pushed A into the set. So S1 was created and S2 was created. S1 had elements of A and B had elements of, and S2 has elements of B. Now we traversed in S1. We traversed in S1 and binary search the element in S2. So if we find the element, if this value is true, then we will increase the count. Otherwise, we will continue to this loop. I think the code is clear. We are pushing the elements of A to the set 1 and pushing the elements B to the set 2, and we are looping in S1. So now for each element we are looking using binary search if it is present in S2 or not. As soon as we find the element, we will be increasing the count, but if we don't get the element, we will be continuing over here to this loop again. So now it's time to write the code. So let me write the code for this. So let me change my screen. So I think the screen is clear and you can see the screen. So let me write the code for this. So we are given two arrays A and B with length n and m. So now we will be creating two sets. Now for each element we are pushing it into the S1, pushing elements into S1. Same for B. Insert BI. So inserting into S2, right? So I think this part is clear. Now what we did, we we traversed over here in S1. So let me traverse it in S1. So in S1, sorry. So as soon as I traverse, if S2 has the element x in it, what this find function do is it does the binary search. This function do binary search and to find this to find element x, to find element x. So we did binary search over here, and as soon as we find the element, we are increasing the count. T equal to 0, and as soon as we find the value, we increase the count. Else we continue it over here. Looping it, this is loop in S1. So now, as soon as we find the count, the final count, we will be returning the count. So I think it is clear. So now it's time to try run our code. So for example, we have this array A as 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, and B as 3, 5, 4, 6, 9, oh sorry, 10. So what set1 will include? Set1 will include 1, 2, 3, and 4, because we are inserting it into the set, and set gives a sorted element at every position. Now, similar case for B, we get 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10, which is also sorted. Now we do the loop in S1. So now we come over to 1. Now we come over to 1 and we find that 1 is not present over here. Okay, not present. Not present over here, so we don't need to increase the count. Now we come over to the loop again and we find that the next element is 2. 1 has been completed. Now we come over to 2. The same thing for 2 comes in the second array. We find that in this set the 2 is not present, so we don't get the binary search for 2, so the element is not present. Similar case as 1, we don't increase the count. Now we come over to 3, because the 1 and 2 are done. Now we come over to 3 and we find that there is a 3 present in this set. Okay, so binary search will find the set and will give us the count, and as soon as we increase the count and we come over to this loop again. So this was 3 and now these 3 parts are done. Now we come over to 4. We see that the element is present over here. For 3 and 4 the element is present, so we increase the count. For 3 and 4, right? For 3 it was increased, for 4 it is going to increase. So now the count has been increased. For 3 initially it was 0, now for 3 it became 1, and for now 4, now it became to 2. Now the count for this will be 2, because we have completed this loop. After 4 there is no element present, so we have completed this loop. So the count is 2 over here. So now we return the count, and so it's time to compile the answer and then submit the code. So right, we have got our answer for this. The answer for this is 1, as we see that 89 is the only element present in both the arrays. So the answer for this is 1. So time to submit the code. Let me submit the code. So what we get should be the right answer. So yes, we have got our right answer for this, and we didn't get any TLE. The time limit for this was, I think, the 2 seconds. We haven't crossed that limit. So let me give a quick review again. So the question was to find the intersection of two arrays. So we had basically to return the count of distinct common element present in A and B, right? So we had these two array present, and we had to return the count of the common elements present, which were this, because these are the intersection. We did not include this because this was not distinct. If we include this, because this has already been included, it would give us a wrong answer over here, right? So we went to a brute force approach to solve the solution, and what we did, we traversed over here and we find if it is present in the visited array, then we don't have to traverse again, and else we should continue. So we found that one has not been visited and it is not present, so the count remains the same for 2. But when we got 3, we saw that 3 was present, and as soon as we find that 3 was present, we break the loop and pushed it into the count. Same case for 4, and then we came on to 3, and we saw that 3 was already present over here. So that's why we did not go after did not traverse this, and after this the loop was over, and we finally got our answer as 2. But there was some limitation with the this brute force approach. The time complexity was O n cross m into log n, which was given TLE for large values such as 10 raised to the power 5. So it was given TLE for 10 raised to the power 5. The space complexity was ON for brute force solution. So we required some efficient approach so that we don't get TLE. So we used set data structure for A and B, and set data structure is basically sorted data structure containing all distinct elements, right? So we inserted all elements of A into S1, which is a set, and same for B. So now the elements of S1 were this, and S2 were this, which were sorted data with distinct elements, right? So now what we did, we traversed in A, and using binary search, using binary search, we found if the element is present in B, right, in S2. So 1 was not present, so we did not increase the count. 2 was not present, we did not increase the count. 3 was present over here, so we increased the count to 1. And same for 4, we found that 4 is also present over here, so we increased the count of 4. So we used binary search to count in S2, and what we got, the time complexity was O n log m, which was less than O n cross m, and we don't get TLE over this. Then we saw the code part, and then it was all over. Okay, so I think this is all. Thank you for joining, and please subscribe to our channel.